Welcome to episode 2 of Hot Facts. We're going to continue on our first topic about social media, why we chose social media, some branding content that we have. We're going to talk about cold calling and how the game has evolved and what social media has done to help you be more present to your audience, right? If you have the right content. Angel and Chris, welcome back again, right? We have our awesome show, Hot Facts. Today, these two gentlemen have actually been a little bit more at the forefront dealing with customers than I have in the last few years. My role has taken a little bit more of a management role, and Chris has been our representative for Trusted Beard for the last 3 years. So, Chris, one of the things that when you and I first started working together that actually, I told you made me want to work with you was the fact that you were already on social media talking about real estate without being licensed as an agent, right? Without having taken the course yet. But you knew something that 90% of millionaires know, that if you invest in real estate, you're going to be a millionaire. That's what these guys do, right? So why don't you guys kick it off? Let us know a little bit about some of the content that we posted, what your objective is, like with prospecting, who you've been able to reach, right, through your outlets. What people have reached back out to you, right, that you thought were unattainable, right, and how social media is this great connector, right?
Right. Yeah. So, like you said, right, to start off, we met. Well, we got acclimated because we have a mutual client in common. My brother, right? Shout out to Tony.
What's up, Tony?
Right, and that's the reason that we got connected. Yeah. But the reason, like you said, that you were like, all right, maybe I can pour some resources into him, maybe I can give him some knowledge or some advice, was that you saw me post a video, right, on before I was in real estate, right? And it's funny because in that video, the specific one that you talk about, I talk about where I actually got fired in my job, right? Because more than anything, I know what social media is, and I'm not gonna play the viral act, right? I'm try to seem that everything's picture perfect, right? No, what my intentions were before I even got into real estate was I'm documenting my journey here, because I'm a high school dropout. I'm come from Little Village. I come from a single family household. Every time I saw something, it just meant that like I wasn't supposed to succeed, So I'm like, no, that's not it, right? So I'm gonna show you, right, from the very beginning, from the worst part, from the bottom of the bottom, right, to show you that it can happen no matter who you are, right? And that's how I came into the picture with social media without even knowing what I wanted to do. Like a whole year before I had met Jesus, I was already posting videos about I don't know what, but I was like, man, let me just get on here because I know this is going to help me one day. This audience is going to follow me into wherever I go, and I'm going to have that trust with them already. So wherever I do go, they'll follow me and they'll, support me, hopefully, right? And thankfully, now it's grown, and all those reps that I've done have paid off, and now we're here doing a podcast together with my brother Angel, right? My other social media brother.
Oh yeah, definitely. I think like it's been a catalyst, man. Like I said, like to bring this experience to the full circle and stuff. And just kind of to touch on my origins of like social media, how I got started. It's like, to me, it was more of I was already in the industry by the time I already wanted to do like content. But I guess we had to take it back a couple years before then. It was during the time when I was getting licensed, was when I was like, okay, I'm not on these platforms right now. The only thing I was on was YouTube. So to me, it was like, I was watching like the other content creators on there. But to me, it was like, I kind of made a promise to myself, like, okay, when you get started in your real estate career, you're going to have to get in front of that camera or in front of people's screens and, really deliver on the things that you told yourself about. Yeah. And to me, it was like, okay, it's just a matter of time, but when? And I reached the point one time, it was really like March 2020, you could say. So it's almost 3 years ago to the date. And to me, it was more of a, I just want to go buy a little freaking stand and stuff or a tripod, freaking Best Buy, $20 and stuff. And to me, it was like, all right, let's put this thing on my iPhone 6. Yeah. Let's wrap it up on my steering wheel. And I started recording, and to me it was like, hey, you know what? I parked behind a freaking Export in Arlington Heights. If you guys, anyone who's watching or listening, the Export parking lot in the back. So you guys know that spot. And to me, I was like, you know what? It's 7 a.m. Let's record something. Started shooting a video. My first topic was just like, how has the virus, whatever, impacted the market and stuff. And to me, it was like, all right, you know, I think it's going to be a topic that is going to gravitate towards a lot of people right now, and something to deliver of a current message and stuff.
Correct.
And I just did it. It was a clip because at the time Instagram Reels didn't exist, right? So at the time it was more of a, you know, I'm just going to upload it and see where it goes. And it got pretty good feedback from it. I had people reaching out and stuff. And that was my first taste in pretty much like social media or content, video content specifically. But to me, it was more like, you know, once you start, you're married to this. And I think that's it's kind of a fear now looking back. It was a fear that I was afraid of. I was afraid of success in a way where it's like, shit, I'm going to be scared of putting myself in front of like a freaking camera. And once I actually did it, I was like, shit, now you can't go back, bro. Hey. And even 3 years later now, you know, having like been on other interviews or being guests or interviewing other individuals, especially this week, I was like, man, you know what? Like, you can't even go back anymore, bro. It's either success or death.
Yeah,
honestly, bro.
What happened? What happened recently this week? Tell them about it.
You know, 3 years later, it's almost poetic, man. You know, we started this podcast to like this week. I was on a different podcast as well in the middle of the week. But then also I got the chance to interview a pretty big real estate giant here, industry name, Ricky Caruth. So I had that opportunity.
Shout out to Ricky.
And to me, it was more like, man, like, you know, we just getting to that point. It's just like having an industry name reaching out to you. It goes a long way, man.
That's awesome.
And to me, it was just like, hey, you know, you like they say you earn your stripes, right?
Correct.
But to me, I wasn't even like aiming towards like, you know, like reaching those type of people. But to me, it was more like you attract people like that, man. You attract the people. You have to become that individual and stuff. And people gravitate towards that shit,
That's
man.
a testament to you, man, and how you've been doing your social media, bro. And like I told you, man, since I met you on screen, I'm all like, man, this guy's got something. And you kept on doing it, and you kept on doing it. Consistency, and you kept on involving. One of the first people to do a podcast in Chicago. One of the first. And look at that. Now you got a guy that has 250,000 eyeballs looking at him, and he wanted to reach out to you to do a podcast. Man, that's...
Thank you. Thank you, guys. And, you know, it's crazy. Like I said, it's on top of that, it's like maybe a lot of people would like push the brakes now that you like achieve something like that, right? But now it's like we're gonna knock out 16 plus episodes. Ooh. So to me, it's more like now there's more pressure. Not pressure in a way where it's like now I have to push myself even more. Yeah. Because at the end of the day, I always tell myself, and the beautiful part about the social media game is it's a self-development game.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't really like touch on that stuff, but you know, throughout the past 3 years or 36 months, you could say I've been able to just improve my speech as well. Yeah. Been able to hold a conversation. I couldn't hold a conversation for shit. Like the past, maybe, you know, how do you say, like maybe at first when I didn't take my speech therapy and stuff, right? And I would stutter and stuff. I still stutter to this day, and it's an evolving thing. But at the end of the day, to me, it was like I couldn't hold a conversation. So it's like maybe a minute conversation with maybe a couple or a client or something, right? It's like freaking stutter. So what the fuck? But then it's just you learn of like breathing techniques, articulation, how you want to actually like word out your words and stuff, but also pace.
So wait. You're telling me that you went somewhere to learn how to do that?
Yes, I hired a speech therapist. I think it's called SPL or SLP. I mean, and speech linguistic pathologist. I believe it's called something like that. But amazing, I always call it speech therapist. So it's a therapy type of thing. So then, to me, you know, once they corrected my speech or helped me like get started with that, bro.
Sure.
You know, to me, it was more of a, you know, it's a process. To me, it was like, at the time it was like $900, right? And I was like, dude, if you don't invest these $900 right now, this is gonna cost you. This is gonna be either the result or like the cause of why you're not gonna be able to make thousands down the line in the coming years. Yes. So you have to do this now.
Wow.
And to me, it was like, yo, I'm gonna do it. And bro, it's the first time anyone in my family has ever done that. Even in like the workplace too.
You,
like,
brother.
What the fuck?
Good
like, yo, what is that? What is that? And to me, it's like, bro, I'm looking this shit up because I actually wanna like grow.
Wow, man. Yeah, man, that's crazy because like, you know, you having a speech impediment or whatever was with your problem with your speech, you took it upon yourself to fix it, and then because you wanted to be on social, and you, like you said, you still stutter or something, right? But that doesn't matter anymore, right? Other people that speak clearly, have all that stuff going for them, are still scared of posting and still scared of doing something, and you over here have everything against you on why you shouldn't, and you're doing it. And that's why it's so amazing that, and why you're getting everything given to, or everything that you've earned is, you know, is coming to you because you put in the work. Like I also know that I'm not the best speaker, and obviously I worked on that as well, but I haven't gotten to that level of you where, you know, like you definitely went above and beyond so that you can be professional in your craft. And that's respects to you. Yeah, because that means you're just getting better for your clients.
Yeah, definitely. And like, it just touches on the social media thing, like we're mentioning. It's like we're putting ourselves in front of there of who knows who will see it, who knows what opportunities will be there.
Yep. And
I think that's it kind of ties into the next thing I want to really talk about with the social media things, how you can really attract a lot of individuals, high quality individuals, which at the end of the day could bring and change your life. I think you can attract the right clients. Because at the end of the day, like, I really want to work with the right people. I want to work with the right buyers, the right sellers, the right investors. Yeah, there's going to be bad apples maybe in the way, but at the end of the day, to me, as long as we got started or initiated something, then to me, it's all I ever wanted, because I want to initiate something and start something with somebody for sure. So to me, it's like, had I not put myself in front of a camera, I wouldn't have any of this thing. We wouldn't be here 36 months later. I wouldn't have done those interviews this week as well. So at the end of the day, it's like, just get started, put yourself in front, because if you don't, then you're missing out on a lot. And you're going to keep missing out on a lot the coming years, because it's 2023. Man. Think about how much like social media in general has changed, or the online digital world has changed.
Yeah.
Just in those 36 months. Can you imagine the next 36 months? Can you imagine here by 2027, 2030? Can you imagine how different it's going to be? Who knows if we're even going to be able to be on camera anymore by that time. But to me, it's more like, you know, there's something like, hey, you have to get this shit going now. It's now or never type of thing. And we're young too, you know, we're young. So we're able to like handle that capacity of that pressure, you could say, right? So at the end of the day, you know, just get started more than anything, but it just kind of touches on the full circle of my social media origins. So
nice, man. That's awesome. And yeah, like you say about the presence of who you can meet and the people that you want to work with, right? Thankfully, you know, because of social media, we've been getting a lot of traction with, you know, what we got going on with our programs and everything. And we've been actually able to get in contact with a lot of agents across the nation, right, Jesus?
Yeah. So it does speak to you as a testament, bro, because there are so many people who don't take this as a profession.
Yeah, that is so true.
There are people, you know, and then I'm sure I'm going to catch a little bit of flack for this, but the most recent study that I read said that on average, a real estate agent is making about $46,000 a year.
Yeah. I think it might have gone down, bro.
And it may have, right? It may have, depending on where you are in the country, and sorry for that. But if you think about that, imagine everything that goes into being a real estate agent. You don't have health care. You don't get paid vacation. There's no time off. You're working weekends. You're working holidays, right? And you're not going to make more than $46,000. And it's not because I'm not saying that that's not a lot of money, but I'm saying that the amount of commitment that comes in to make that much money, you could do something else if money is your objective, right?
Yeah.
But if you think that this is something where you want to build yourself, because it's not just that you want to be on social media, but because you want to help put the narrative forward of letting Latinos be in homes. And I'll tell you where we'll be in 2030. In 2030, they said that 70% of people will have some type of Latino blood inside of them. That's where we're going to be. So this information that we're putting out right now, perceive that there's someone who's going to be younger who didn't get to hear it because they were little kids.
Yeah.
And then now they're adults. And you don't know how many times that's happened to me now. Since I've been in the business for 20 years, I've helped people's parents buy houses, and now the same kids are buying houses with me. And when I met them, they were they were like 7 years old. Being in the business 20 years, somebody grew up, and now they're getting married and they're buying a house. And guess who they want to buy a house with? And what does that come to? The brand that I have built over the last decade. Yeah. Right? Because for me, even though I got on social media for MySpace, right, it really didn't pick up that traction. And then if I'm being 100% transparent, I got off of social media for a long time. Right? I didn't understand what the monster was and how people were doing it, because I kept getting messages for, you know, hey, let's go out and get a drink, or hey, I haven't seen you in a long time, or, you know, how, you know, whatever the invitation was. And it wasn't something that I could leverage for business. Yeah. Right? I hired an assistant, and then she kept telling me, boss, you got to get on social media. You have to get on Facebook. So then I said, you know what? Let's take a headshot. You run it, and then go from there. She posted that I was on Facebook, and in a matter of like 7 hours, I had 1,000 followers. Shit. People who knew me, and I was like, what is this?
Yeah, right? I could see that, man.
And then it started just picking up, and it became the snowball effect. What helped me, I did what you did. I had taken a speech class before, and I thought that I spoke very well. But what I didn't realize was that there's levels to this game. Yeah. There are levels to this, dude. Right? There's something that someone can speak on camera, but what about your cadence? How do you bring people in? Are you able to engage with anybody? ¿Hablas otro idioma? Do you know the content that you're putting out there? Or is it something that you're reading off of? If you haven't noticed, None of us have sheets in front of us because this is things that we know.
Zero.
We're not making this stuff up as we go, and there's not a prompter behind us, right? This is information that we've been able to cultivate, and now having a team like these guys, I can pass that information on to them. Chris can tell you that, you know, even on the funny component of it, not necessarily funny, but the social media component of it, where people are looking for virality. Chris met Gary Vee in the lobby when he was closing his $300 million NFT deal. NFT. Posted it on social, right? These are the relationships that are out there. These people may seem like they're very unattainable, but you could touch them. Chris, in our San Diego conference that we went down there and you met Gary Vee, how many times did this man repost your story?
Man, it was so many, man. It was so crazy, man. It was like 4 or 5 times. And I'm just like, what the? And it's crazy because the reason I did social media was because of him. Right. And the full circle, man. Right. I go back and I think, I'm like, man, when I was able to see him, I was all on my own. I was with Jesus and he told me to head on first without him. I'm like, all right, let's see what we encounter. And I couldn't believe it that I met the guy that made me want to do what I'm doing. And so gracious, so humble, man. He's on the call while he's selling his NFT for world record price. And he still was able to give me a picture. I'm just like, man, that's amazing. And it just more than anything cemented, you know, my conviction for what I was doing. I'm like, I'm on the right path because it wouldn't have been like this if it wasn't, because I was the only one that saw him. I was the only one that got a picture before he started to talk. So I'm like, nah, this is a sign that I'm on the right path.
What year was this again?
This was 2021.
21, yeah.
21.
Wow. Dude, it was like during the heart of like things opening up and stuff too, right? So that really pays off.
Those things again, right? Like, look, what I tell people about social media is that you got to be careful because there's this culture out there of like fake it till you make it.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's unfortunate because you never make it. right? You're supposed to fake it until you become it.
Yes, sir.
Right?
You
learn it. You go through that. You eat that. You go through that whole process so that you're in that place, right? So then for Chris to meet this person, right? And then this was the first national conference that he had ever been to, right? And the reason that he got there was because the month before he had outproduced everybody. So what do we do as a team? You recognize the people that are putting in the work, right? Yeah. And collectively as a team, we voted, and Chris got to come with me to this first national conference. On his first national conference, he meets Gary Vee, takes a photo with him on a historic NFT deal for like $300-something million. And this man is so calm about it, he tells Chris. First he hears Chris do his Chris. Right?
Dude, what's wrong with you?
And he's just like, you know? But then tells him, look, man, I can't do a video. I'm on the phone, but you want to take a picture? And then throws up the fire. That's the thing. I'm in a meeting because I couldn't go with Chris as he mentioned. I told him, you go up ahead, you know, get a space for us for where Gary's going to speak. And I'll catch up with you after I finish this meeting. When I look at my social media account, right, not to see where Chris is, right, not to call Chris on the phone to be like, hey, where are you? But I see he posted a story, so I'm going to know where he is. And the first picture I see is my boy with the 5 up, Gary Vee on the phone. I was like, what?
Hell yeah, dude.
Like, this just happened. This is reality, right?
Yeah, that's a good one, man.
And then think about it like this, right? For us, we look at Gary Vee because he's gotten to a certain level. And it's because of the consistency that man has, the discipline that he has, right? What you don't realize is you have that same impact on the people that are around you. You have no idea how many people we've talked to that said, I found you on TikTok. I follow you on Instagram, right?
That's so true.
I didn't think that, you know, whatever. And it's that same level that we're on. Obviously, he's on a bigger scale. We're not trying to compare ourselves to Gary, right? But in the sense that you can be that voice for your community, right? You can be that voice for the people who don't understand this process, right?
Yeah.
And then that's where the brand really takes off.
1000%.
Because you're not faking it till
Just
you make it.
off, man. That's
You made it already,
yeah.
right? You're this person, right? Why I pushed my team to use social media, and I even did social media calendars for them, is because I know something. The more reps you get, the stronger you get.
Yeah.
So even in that moment that maybe Chris hadn't closed an FHA 203K loan, but I gave him the guidelines of what the program was, I needed him to get comfortable with the vernacular that comes into that.
Yes.
I needed people to understand that we have the capacity to do this type of loan. And not just for people who speak Spanish, people speaking, anyone who wants to purchase a property, right? And that's where this brand part starts to come out, right? Where like, what's the brand? People think that my brand is my beard, right? Because that's the name of my company, Trust the Beard, right? The reason that I have the brand is because of the consistency in my business.
Yeah.
Me being around for 20 years is an accident. me helping hundreds of families get into their homes, right, is not an accident. We learned how to do this, right? And then the brand that came behind it was ask people, who's the guy to call if you have a problem with a loan? I'll clean it up, man. I know how to do this business. There's nothing in it that scares us now, right? But that's where I think with most people, they get distracted by what their brand is. Your brand isn't the clothes that you wear, the name brand shit that you have on. Your brand is your discipline as a professional to bring education to your clients. And if you're out of that space, look at the career that you're in, and maybe you need to do something different. You know?
So true. And it even ties into like your branding. Like when you specifically speak about brand, I'm like, dude, you've been in it for 20 years, right?
Yeah.
I knew who you were without even meeting you before. And even you weren't even in Chicago.
Right.
So to me, it's like, fuck, like I know Jesus Neri, and I've never met him before. He's not even in my perimeter.
Yeah.
Right? Like, like he's not even close by here in my proximity. But to me, it just shows the power of branding and stuff, and the continuous reps. If you're consistent and stuff, how you can build it and stuff and reach not even like local level or state level or now national even levels. So to me, that's just a testament as well. It's like shit. Like I kind of see like a future version. I was like, damn, like this guy's just like something I want to be in later on down the line. So to me, it's just more of you have to align yourself with what really attracts you and stuff, and people who are like in the same purpose and vision and stuff. So to me, it's like I feel like you guys just really match that, and it's just a matter of time, man. To me, we're gonna keep conquering more, man.
And it didn't hurt that you had a beard, right? It didn't hurt that you had a beard,
just like the cherry on top, man. Right? Like I honestly, that like,
doesn't mean you guys have to have a beard to work with us. Don't worry, you don't have to put on a beard or grow one out if you don't have one. Don't
Shout out to compa Jose.
Oh, but man, just I even envisioned like us, like when we first met and stuff. You guys give me the hat, right?
Yeah.
I envisioned a shirt, but we got the hat. I'm playing. No. But like really, I really did envision like you guys, like us like working together, bro. Like serial. And to me, that's why it was like it felt like poetic. And I even showed you like before we got recording to this episode, showed you a list of people I wanted to work with.
Yeah.
October 27, 2022. Wrote this a couple months ago, but then I'm like, list of people, and I had you right there too. It's not bullshit, So to me, it's always just being transparent, and then once you actually meet the people in person, it's like it's even more transparency on top. So
right.
And then like not to interrupt, but then you look at everything that then your brand can become. Right? Because it's not just that. Now you understand the components behind our brand, right? Like for our brand, it's creation, collaboration, and contribution. Yes. We don't care about competition. We're not in competition with you, man. We want to see you win too.
I love that, man.
So those type of things that now people understand it, bro, you have I have to wear my sweatshirt sometimes and people are like, man, I'll buy that outfit. And now we want to launch like a merchandise line, right? Yeah. And those type of things that, again, people don't want to wear my shirt because I'm a mortgage company. Mm-hmm. People don't want to wear my shirt because it's because of the trust that's behind it, right? Yes. There's a consistency behind that brand.
Consistent years of work, man.
Right? It's real. You could touch it.
Yep.
And it's so real that, I started this brand because one of my aunts passed away from cancer. And that was a difficult thing. And I wanted to find a way to honor that person because she was such a loving person to me. Right? And she gave me some of the best advice that if I wish I would have listened to when I was young, my career would have been in a different place. My life would have been in a different place. And what she told me was, don't worry about anybody else. Be you. Solid advice that you can take right now. And if I would have listened to that, I wouldn't have gone down the path of what I thought somebody else was doing that was better than me. I wouldn't have compared myself to what somebody else was driving. I wouldn't have wanted more things, but I would have been in a space where I was for me, right?
Yeah, I agree.
When my aunt passed away, unfortunately, rest in peace, Aunt Maria, an organization approached me called Edmund's Angels, and they used to do a thing for breast cancer specifically, right? And what you do is you don't have a beard, and then every day you take a photo. And this is before like social media was a thing of that, right? And these people would do a carousel, and what you do is it shows your beard as you grew up throughout this 90-day period. And then people get a chance to donate money to it. If they, think your beard's cool, or if your beard grew out. I saw guys putting a little thing on their stuff and whatnot. But that's what this brand started, that it was something that was based in the root of me wanting to honor someone who loved me, right? And now we have this opportunity to continue to push the brand forward, right? And then for you guys, how you guys want to do your brand and how you guys want to grow, look at the models that are in front of you, right? And see the ones that are consistent. Because the thing that was important for me was I could care less what people thought about it, but it was to honor someone who was an amazing person to me, And then when we talk about full circle, last year my mom got diagnosed with breast cancer, right? So then the brand again like revitalizes, and it's something that we want to put more effort into, cancer awareness, right? And this is independent from the real estate side. But what I know is that mortgage is the vessel that I picked to get to where I wanted to go to, and I'm using it, right? I'm using this all the way through, and I understand that this is an opportunity for more people to use this vessel to get to other places, that it's not just about owning a home, right?
So true.
That's how we do it, guys. That's how we do it. Angel, why don't you hit us with the hot facts of this episode, and Chris, wrap us up.
The hot facts of this specific episode, we talked about branding, just the power of it and the consistent repetition of it.
Yeah.
And how if you're consistent throughout the years, even like I said, it's not going to be overnight thing. So don't expect that. Straightforward. To me, like I said, anyone who's listening, who's a younger generation for sure.
Yeah.
Hopefully this served as a good message, hearing it from people we might be from the same age group or something. But at the end of the day, to me, finding people like you mentioned as well that really attract you, or sort of you attract yourself to them in a way, where their message attracts you, or their purpose and something of their vision aligns with what you're looking in life. Then to me, it's more like you have to be around those people. So the hot fact of it is the power of branding. Maybe start your own brand as well. Just get out there for sure. And to me, it's more like, just get to it, because at the end of the day, it pays off. So.
Right. Brother Chris, what do we got lined up for the next episode?
So guys, stay tuned for the next episode where we're going to be talking about social media, but for lead generation. You don't want to miss out. See you then.